Welcome to the annual Top 10 Free Agents and Predictions video here on the channel. Starting pitching and Shohei Otani dominate this offseason. So who's the best? Where should they sign? I emphasize should because it's not my fault if a prediction is wrong because a team or a player makes a bad decision. You see what I did there? Comment below and let the community know, where do you have these players landing? And also let us know, who do you want your team to grab? Let's get started. In at number 10, it's JD Martinez. For the first time in 3 years, he popped more than 30 homers, drove in 100 RBI. So any talk of a career downside was put on hold. Now, he's a qualifying offer guy, so there's a chance that LA attaches that to him, which could impact his market. So where do I have him going? Let's hop into the hub here, and you can see we're going to have a Final Four. And if your team is in that Final Four, then they are one of the teams that I believe are most likely to sign to get the player. And at any time, could become the favorite, depending on the market, any bidding wars, the impact of another player signing somewhere else. So I'm going to pick one now, but this could change on a variety of factors that we don't have evidence at the present time. So again, JD Martinez, who do I have as the Final Four? And I'm already going to start cheating. I'm going to have a Final Five. Most of these were going to stick to 4, but there were 5 teams that I looked at and I figured they need the pop, they need the bat. The Brewers, the Mariners, the Guardians, the Mets, and the Marlins. We know the Brewers need pop. The Mariners need to replace Teoscar Hernandez. The Guardians, that was one of their biggest struggles this year. The Mets need another power bat. The Marlins, Jorge Soler has opted out. So where do I have him going? Of these teams, I'm going to pick the Mets. I think the New York Mets will spend money this year, not as crazy as last year, but they know that they need to bring in another power bat, slot him in at DH. Vogelback becomes a matchup play, mix and match him. Maybe he is released anyway. But JD Martinez, give me a power upgrade for the New York Mets. In at number 9, it is Eduardo Rodriguez, and a career year couldn't have come at a better time. 13 wins, an ERA of 3.30. We saw a great season from Eduardo Rodriguez, again, as he had the opportunity to opt out of his deal, which is what he will most certainly do to go get more years, higher AAV, a better contract. So let's take a look at his Final Four. And I've got the Phillies, Aaron Nola. That situation is looming. The Orioles, they need to bring in a veteran arm to add to that rotation. The Nats, Erod wants to stay on the East Coast. And the Nats may find themselves making a surprise splash this year. Erod might be it. And Miami could use some starting pitching. Again, we're looking at teams that are looking to compete. We're looking at teams that are on the East Coast because that is Erod's preference. So out of these teams, where do I have him going? I still think Baltimore is going to shy away from spending money. I can't rule it out, but I think it's a long shot. The Washington Nationals, again, of the teams on the board, I think there are 2 that are more likely than Washington. And then when it comes down to Philly and Miami, give me Philly to make the move. It is foreshadowing a prediction I have later on in this video, but I think Erod to Philly makes sense for him and the franchise. Let's move on to number 8. It is Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray was really good. His breaking balls, his fastballs, the combination of those two, it's among the best in Major League Baseball. Who are the Final Four that I have for Sonny Gray? I think the Twins certainly will be in the mix to bring him back. Cardinals need pitching. But if the Twins throw that qualifying offer on top of Sonny Gray, do the Cardinals bow out because of that? The Diamondbacks need pitching. We just saw that. They went into the World Series with 3 starting pitchers. Imagine how things may have been different if they had 4. and the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds are going to do something this offseason. I am convinced of it. So with these 4 in play, where do I think he's ultimately going to land? I'm going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals. I think they understand how important it is to go out there and get a starting pitcher that you can insert to the top of that rotation. Let's go on to number 7, and it is Josh Hader. Most certainly, in my opinion, Josh Hader is going to go out there and land the richest free agent deal that a relief pitcher has ever had. He is incredible at the back of your bullpen with an ERA of 1.28 last year. Just absolutely lights out at the back of the bullpen. So who are the final 4? I think the Padres will try to bring him back. I got to keep the Padres in the final 4. The Phillies, Craig Kimbrell is walking. Philly could use somebody at the back of that bullpen to amplify that situation. The Texas Rangers, certainly always looking to improve. And Miami also looking to improve, could use a closer. This is a team that finally made it back to the postseason. I don't think they want to stop, so I think they'll be aggressive. Will they ultimately win out, though? I believe the Padres, there's a financial situation going on there. Philly, I think they'll be in on a lot of guys, but they're not going to obviously land everybody. And Miami's just going to come up short on the money when it comes to bidding against the Rangers. I think Josh Hader ends up with the Texas Rangers. Let's go to number 6, and it's Jordan Montgomery. Speaking of Texas Rangers, Jordan Montgomery went out there and really boosted his markets with his performance in the postseason. And even before that, he was pitching tremendously for the Rangers leading up to the postseason, helped them make it. Remember how tight it was between Houston, Texas, and Seattle? 2 of them were going to make it. Somebody was going to be out. If Jordan Montgomery wasn't a Texas Ranger in September, maybe Texas doesn't even make it to the postseason to win the World Series. He was huge. He came up big, and I think he's going to be rewarded for it. So who are his final 4? Texas is going to push hard. The Baltimore Orioles, what we said earlier about the importance, their need to add some veteran starting pitching. Cubs are going to be aggressive, I believe, at that starting pitching market, and I think they're going to be working at the top part of that. And then the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox need pitching. So where are we going to go? I think the Texas Rangers will not allow Jordan Montgomery to leave the Lone Star State. Give me Jordan Montgomery back with the Rangers. They need him. If they had a bunch of guys coming back or a bunch of kids that were ready, sure, maybe you let him go. But DeGrom is hurt. Perez is walking. You don't know how much you're going to get from Max Scherzer next year. Jordan Montgomery is a must. Let's move on and let's get into the top 5. And I'm going to go to Yoshinbu Yamamoto in at number 5. And I have him in at number 5 because he hasn't pitched an inning in the majors yet. There are a couple of pitchers coming up that some of you maybe want to leapfrog him over. But until I see Yamamoto pitching at the major league level, I'm going to give it to some guys that already have some hardware. Number 5, Yamamoto. This player has created such a craze around baseball. His fastball explodes, lives at 95. He's got a great curveball, a nice cutter, and a nasty splitter. All of those pitches have above average control. A special talent here that's going to be inserted to the top of a rotation. But the question is, which rotation? So let's take a look at my final 4. And again, I'm cheating. I'm going to add 5 into the mix here. Dodgers, Giants, Rangers, Mets, and Yankees. And there are certainly more that could loom, but I think these will be the teams, again, as I mentioned, as I explained with JD Martinez, when I put you in this final group, these are the teams that I believe are the teams to choose from, and it could change depending on factors like bidding wars, markets, other player movement. If Ohtani goes to the Dodgers, then I would say Yamamoto to the Dodgers. I would remove the Dodgers from this final 5 and maybe add the Red Sox if the Red Sox haven't made a move yet. So those things all impact the decision making. But as of today, the beginning of November, I believe these would be the teams to choose from. The Dodgers need pitching. The Giants are actively out there aggressively pursuing Yamamoto. So are the Mets. So are the Yankees. And you cannot count the Rangers out. If they don't sign Jordan Montgomery, if Jordan Montgomery decides he wants to go to Baltimore and Baltimore gets aggressive, then Yamamoto, I would think, would be the bullseye target for the Texas Rangers. But ultimately, where's he going to go? I just have this gut feeling that the Dodgers will get Ohtani, the Rangers will bring back Montgomery, and I have them getting Hader as well. But there was a team that missed out on a couple of free agents last year and is going to have such a sense of urgency and still, because of it, a ton of money to spend. The Mets and the Yankees, they have very high payrolls. This team was trying to have that level of a payroll last year and just couldn't make it work. Give me the Giants to go out and land Yamamoto. In at number 4, it is Cody Bellinger. What a bounce back and an incredible one. It was great to witness, whether it was a change of approach, a change of scenery, the shift going away, whatever it was. Cody Bellinger bounced back in a big way, and now he's going to get paid. He's going to be rewarded for it. So where do we have Cody Bellinger going? Who are the final 4? I'm going to cheat again. I'm going to go with a final 5. I think returning to the Cubs is a very likely possibility. You've got the Guardians. They need a bat. They need some pop. The Blue Jays need a lefty bat. The Marlins could use him. The Yankees could use him. There's a lot of teams that could be in the Cody Bellinger sweepstakes, but I think it is likely that he goes back to the team that gave him the chance, and that is the Cubs. Give me Cody Bellinger heading back to the Cubs. In at number 3, Blake Snell, likely the NL Cy Young Award winner. That is still to be determined as of recording, but he was fantastic in 2023, rekindled some of that magic from earlier on in his career. Back in 2018 when he won 21 games and posted a 1.89 ERA, won the AL Cy Young, likely to add a second piece of hardware to his mantle after this 2023 season. So who's going to get what I believe will inevitably be the NL Cy Young winner? Padres are going to try to bring him back, but again, there's a money situation, so it's unlikely. The Red Sox need pitching. We've highlighted that already. The Rangers, you can't rule them out for any pitching. The Cardinals need some pitching. Now, we went back. We remember we put Sonny Gray on the Cardinals. Would we have Blake Snell on the Cardinals? If there's a qualifying offer, the Cardinals are only going to go after one qualifying offer guy. They won't go after 2. The Rangers, I don't think they care about qualifying offers right now. The Padres, the money's a thing, so maybe it's between the Red Sox and the Rangers here. And again, the Rangers, we have them doing some other things, so let's go to Boston. Let's go with Blake Snell to the Boston Red Sox. They need to go out there and get an impactful pitcher for that rotation, and why not a guy that's familiar with the American League East? Let's go on to number 2, and it is Aaron Nola. Nola in 2023 was inconsistent, but his postseason, I think, reminded a lot of front offices and fans about what can happen with him in a rotation. And let's also not forget about what he's done over his career. Plenty of times, ERAs in the 3s, a couple times ERAs in the 2s. He's a really good pitcher. Just because his free agent year, he posted an ERA in the mid-4s, I don't think that's who he is. I think who he is who we have seen over his career, and that's why I have him in at number 2. So who are the final 4 teams for Aaron Nola? I think there's a good chance he ends up back in Philadelphia. You've got San Francisco. You've got Texas again. Cincinnati. Talked about how Cincinnati and Arizona are going to be in on guys. It's important with the youth that they have, with the core that they're building, with the bats, that they support that with some pitching. We're not going to go Rangers. Rangers will be in the mix if all the players we've talked about so far, Montgomery, Hader, Snell, go elsewhere. Then I think the Rangers will be a bullseye target for Nola. But I see some other things happening. First, the Giants, if they don't get Yamamoto, maybe they go for both. But the qualifying offer situation, that's where Yamamoto not having a qualifying offer is big, because Nola does. If you're the Giants, I think you prioritize the guy that you don't have to give up draft capital for. So where are we going to go? I think this team is going to recognize that they're going to have to just suck it up and deal with the qualifying offer. I got the Reds landing Aaron Nola, bolstering that rotation. And in at number 1, Shohei Otani, the greatest free agent in the history of baseball. It's going to be quite the show watching his free agency play out. Where's he going to go? All the rumors that are going to be out there. He was in line before his injury to not just be the MVP, but also the Cy Young. He hung out. He tried to stay in there hitting, got hurt even more, and we lost a chance at maybe the Triple Crown. He was having a remarkable 2023. Now, where's he going to go in 2024? I don't know what to do, guys. Look, everybody wants to be at the Shohei Otani party. All right, but we have to identify some teams. We have to remove some teams because we cannot have this cluster of clubs. I think that the Padres, there's a money situation. The Angels, come on, I think we know why. The Rangers, they'll be there if all those other options fall apart. You've got a Red Sox team. We're eliminating, by the way. A Red Sox team that I think they'll be in the mix, but they're on the East Coast. East Coast teams are going to have a troubling time getting over the fact that he has said he wants to remain on the West Coast. It doesn't mean it can't change, but it is a longer, taller hill to climb. So the Red Sox, Mets, and Yankees in trouble. So who do we have after that? Dodgers, Giants, Mariners, and Cubs survive that elimination round and are the final four teams. So where do we go to next for Shohei Otani? Again, the Dodgers seemed like they were saving money last year for him. The Giants didn't mean to, but they kind of saved some money last year. The Mariners, there's just a tie in there. I think that they have a real shot, the Mariners do, to get Ohtani. And I also think the Cubs have a real shot. Call it the Seiya Suzuki factor, the fact that he was interested in the Cubs originally when he was coming to America. So I got these four as the likely teams for Shohei Ohtani. Who do I have getting him? The Dodgers. I think the Dodgers get him. Go to a team that is consistently one of the favorites to make it to the World Series. I think that's what Ohtani's going to prioritize. Maybe the Dodgers don't offer him the most money. Maybe the Mets are offering him more money. But Ohtani is going to look at the situations and he's going to say, well, the Dodgers are consistently winning the West. They're making it deep into the postseason. I understand they are falling apart in the postseason, but maybe Shohei Otani looks at what he brings to the table as the missing piece to those Dodgers postseason disappointments, and they get over the hump with Ohtani. Comment below, everybody. Where do you have some of these guys going, and who do you want your team to go out and get this offseason? Comment below and let the community know. That's it. You made it to the end. Thank you for watching, everybody. Again, make sure to hit that like on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't yet and turn those notifications on so you don't miss any of the offseason deals, news, and rumors.